If someone were to harm my family or a friend or somebody I love, I would eat them. I might end up in jail for 500 years, but I would eat them. If you love two people at the same time, choose the second. Because if you really loved the first one, you wouldn't have fallen for the second. Music touches us emotionally, where words alone can't. My body is my journal, and my tattoos are my story. We're all damaged in our own way. Nobody's perfect. I think we're all somewhat screwy. Every single one of us. I think everybody's weird. We should all celebrate our individuality and not be embarrassed or ashamed of it. The only creatures that are evolved enough to convey pure love are dogs and infants. Just keep moving forward and don't give a shit about what anybody thinks. Do what you have to do, for you. I try to stay in a constant state of confusion just because of the expression it leaves on my face. She's kind of a walking poem. She's this perfect beauty, but at the same time very deep, very smart. When kids hit 1 year old, it's like hanging out with a miniature drunk. You have to hold on to them. They bump into things. They laugh and cry. They urinate. They vomit. You gotta be careful. Don't say a word to nobody about nothing anytime ever. Life's pretty good, and why wouldn't it be? I'm a pirate, after all. I don't think anybody's necessarily ready for death. You can only hope that when it approaches, you feel like you've said what you wanted to say. Nobody wants to go out in mid-sentence. I always felt like I was meant to have been born in another era, another time. One of the greatest pieces of advice I've ever gotten in my life was from my mom. When I was a little kid, there was a kid who was bugging me at school, and she said, "Okay, I am gonna tell you what to do. If the kid's bugging you and puts his hands on you, you pick up the nearest rock. You can close your eyes to the things you don't want to see, but you can't close your heart to the things you don't want to feel." If there's any message, it is ultimately that it's okay to be different, that it's good to be different, that we should question ourselves before we pass judgment on someone who looks different, behaves different, talks different, is a different color. I am doing things that are true to me. The only thing I have a problem with is being labeled. I think everybody's nuts. I think the thing to do is to enjoy the ride while you're on it. My daughter was asked by a little old lady in a London hotel or restaurant what her daddy did. She answered, "He's a pirate." I was very proud of that answer. They say the world used to be bigger. The world's still the same, there's just less in it. A dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. Growing old is unavoidable, but never growing up is possible. I believe you can retain certain things from your childhood if you protect them, certain traits, certain places where you don't let the world go. With any part you play, there is a certain amount of yourself in it. There has to be, otherwise it's just not acting. It's lying. Everything here is edible, even I'm edible. But that, dear children, is cannibalism, and is in fact frowned upon in most societies. Laugh as much as you breathe and love as long as you live. I don't pretend to be Captain Weird. I just do what I do. They stick you with those names, those labels, rebel or whatever they like to use. Because they need a label, they need a name. They need something to put the price tag on the back of. I was ecstatic when they renamed French fries as freedom fries. Grown men and women in positions of power in the US government showing themselves as idiots. Me, I'm dishonest, and you can always trust a dishonest man to be dishonest. Honestly, it's the honest ones you have to watch out for. As a teenager I was so insecure. I was the type of guy that never fitted in because he never dared to choose. I was convinced I had absolutely no talent at all. For nothing. And that thought took away all my ambition too. Throughout my lifetime I've left pieces of my heart here and there. And now, there's almost barely enough to stay alive. But I force a smile, knowing that my ambition far exceeded my talent. If you catch me saying I am a serious actor, I beg you to slap me. People say I make strange choices, but they're not strange for me. My sickness is that I'm fascinated by human behavior, by what's underneath the surface, by the worlds inside people. I'm having too much fun today to worry about tomorrow. When I see someone who just follows their dream and succeeds, and just does basically what they want to do and doesn't have to answer to anyone, obviously not harming. Not all treasure is silver and gold. Trips to the dentist, I like to postpone that kind of thing.